English writing, and today we're going to be doing modal verbs, and it's Wednesday the 23rd of September. This is a list of modal verbs, so can, could, may, might, will, would, must, should and ought to. And if you have a look at that list and have a little think and see if you can think of a sentence that uses each one of those possibilities. So those words on the previous page are known as modal verbs. Modal verbs work with another verb to describe how likely things are to happen or to what degree of certainty something is known. So one day he might be king. So in this case, might be is the modal verb. Now modal verbs are grouped into likelihood of a scale of likelihood as to whether or not they might happen. So these words indicate that something might or might not happen. So they're could, may or might. Now the modal verbs would, should and ought to indicate that something needs to happen but still might not. Will, can and must are a group of words that indicate a degree of certainty that something will happen. You can also use negative verbs in negative forms. So for example, I can do a handstand becomes I cannot, or I can't do a handstand. So the modal verb is there is can't. We could not or couldn't have an ice cream. The modal verb there is could not or couldn't. It may be sunny tomorrow. So may is a positive modal verb. May not be sunny tomorrow is may not is the negative. This might take a long time, so might is the modal verb, and might not or mightn't is also the modal verb. Now modal verbs are ranked in strength, so here we've got the likelihood of it not happening or the likelihood of it definitely happening. So may, for example, it may rain later today. It may do, it may not do. The likelihood of that happening is quite low. It will rain later today. The likelihood of that sentence, that it will rain later today, will indicates that it definitely will happen. So that ranks quite high on the scale of likelihood. Now what I would like you to do here is insert an appropriate modal verb in each sentence. So I blank have pizza for tea. So I will have pizza for tea is a good modal verb to insert there. That means you're definitely going to have pizza. I might have pizza for tea would also be a suitable modal verb to insert. And might is lower down on the scale of likelihood. You might have pizza for tea, then again you might have a cheeseburger. So I something tie my shoelaces. So you could put there I should tie my shoelaces or I will tie my shoelaces. I will tie my shoelaces indicates it's something you're definitely going to do. I should tie my shoelaces. It indicates you might do, you might not do. So on this page, what Mr. Evans and I would like you to do is write out these sentences and insert two appropriate modal verbs. So some cows form a band and release a single. So what I'd like you to write is some cows might form a band or and will release a single, or whichever two modal verbs you think are appropriate. The next sentence is an alien attack fleet approaches Earth. So be as creative as you want and insert two modal verbs. And when you've finished this work, you can think of some of your own as well, that's fine. And when you've completed it, if you hand it in to the Year 5 emails, and myself or Mr. Evans will be checking those regularly. Thank you.